I'm here to talk to you about digital missions, about kind of what the North American Division is doing in digital missions and trying to encourage you all to engage in a way of evangelism that is incredibly fruitful, incredibly inexpensive, and it involves so much of who we are as a congregation and as we are as a church. Just about anybody can do digital evangelism, and that's why we're doing digital missions local church. So if you could please play the video.
The mission has always been about people, meeting them where they are. The North American Division is launching a new Digital Evangelism Initiative, a 2-year effort to help local churches reach their communities online. This mission is designed to support local churches in making digital outreach an integrated part of their evangelism strategy, by training and supporting pastors to effectively reach the community, turning interests into disciples. It's a framework for online evangelism that churches can replicate time and again. Each participating church will join a 3-month training and campaign cycle, beginning with regional workshops led by the North American Division. With the guidance of Adventist Connect, every church will launch a digital advertising campaign tailored to its community, qualifying interests and developing new relationships with those reaching out for hope. Weekly check-ins and analytics reports will be provided so churches can understand what's working and how to improve. Financial support and coordination for this initiative will be provided by the North American Division. This partnership ensures that participating churches have everything they need to succeed: knowledge, tools, and guidance. Success begins with choosing the right local churches. This initiative isn't for every congregation, and that's intentional. We already know how to generate digital interests. In fact, we can reach more people in the community than most churches can handle. The real challenge and the real opportunity is to find churches where the pastor and members are united in prayer, open to the Holy Spirit's leading, and ready to engage personally with those God brings to them. It takes discernment and balance between generating interests, qualifying leads, and ensuring the local church can follow through with care, discipleship, and authentic connection. That's why each conference should prayerfully identify one local church to begin this journey, one that not only has the tools and team, but also the spiritual readiness to partner with the Holy Spirit in reaching their community online. The journey starts with one simple shift: helping your church rediscover its mission. When your members engage their neighbors through prayer, compassion, and spiritual conversations, something powerful happens. The church comes alive again. People stop watching ministry and start doing ministry. Digital outreach gives you new opportunities to reach the people already searching for hope in your community. But the true transformation happens inside the church, when follow-up becomes discipleship, when visitors become friends, and when members experience again the joy of leading someone to Jesus. We're here to support you, your leadership, and your team so that your church can serve your community with excellence, humility, and the love of Christ. Together, we can make digital evangelism an effective, continuing ministry in every corner of our division, until every person has the opportunity to find freedom, hope, and wholeness in Jesus. This is digital mission for the local church.
So the idea is each conference will have a subsidized church for the North American Division, so we'll pay for all of the costs for that church to do digital evangelism in a very significant way, up to $5,000. That means training, that means resources, that means we'll show you guys how to make the ads for the local church to actually reach their community, and there's going to be lots of presentations throughout the next few days on how to do that and what that looks like. But I wanted to share that with you in the respect that every church can do this if they're interested, if they're truly wanting to grow, if they really want to make a difference in their local community. And it changes the church, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the idea is that we can empower the laity. We cannot do this work on our own as pastors and as administrators. We just cannot do it. We have to have everybody involved, total member involvement for what it's worth. And we have a very small window of how we can do this. And this is when I talk to you about the digital missions in kind of a theoretical standpoint. And as we talk about this, we need to think about this in our eschatology as Adventists. We have a small window of when we can do digital missions. Right now, I don't know how many of you know this, but over 90% of the text on the internet generated each year, over 90% is generated by AI. Over 50% of the videos generated on the internet right now, this last year, generated by AI. The content that we have on the internet is becoming internet slop or AI slop. It's no longer as relevant as it once was, and that's turning people away. Each year, we're having 10% people less on social media. It's not growing anymore in the United States and Canada. It's shrinking, particularly amongst young people. They're done with it. It's a changing environment. Additionally, what we're faced with is this idea of, like, our eschatology saying we will be marginalized, we will be prevented from speaking, prevented from evangelism. We don't have to lose our freedom of speech in the United States to lose our voice. We simply do not. Think about what happened with Twitter before, X before it was Twitter, with Elon Musk. They were managing speech on the platform from the government for political purposes. What happened with TikTok just a few weeks ago? It was purchased by a billionaire for one exclusive purpose: to control the narrative on a particular country. He stated that. We don't have to lose our rights to speak in order to lose our voice. The algorithms actually reward other people more than they do religious ones. So religious content receives, in some studies, less than 50% of the views because of the algorithm in comparison to, say, a cooking video on social media. Content creators that create religious content, even if they have more views and more time spent eyeballs on their content, receive less money for their work than, say, someone who's making a pie on TikTok. The algorithms do not reward us now. And as time goes on, our eschatology says it will be worse. It'll be rough. It's going to be rougher. So we're entering a time when we have to be careful. Our window to do digital evangelism is shrinking, and it's only going to get rougher. We have to consider the fact that we also live in a time of incredible isolation as individuals, and this creates an amazing opportunity for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Amazing. Anyone know what happened in New York City a couple weeks ago? And I'm not talking about the raising rents and the raising taxes. I'm not talking about that. There was a particular bar that was opened in New York City a couple weeks ago. It was an AI bar. So you can take your AI date to a bar and actually have a date with an AI companion right then and there in a bar. Kind of a weird situation for me, but guess what? It's filled up. It's filled up. Over 30% of men in the United States have had a romantic relationship with an AI. It's much higher for Gen Z. It's rumored to be in the 70th percentile for Gen Z. But here's a surprising number. 10 to 15% of women also have romantic relationships with AI. You know why? Because they can't find men for intimacy, because men are no good. That's what's happening. They're looking for intimacy desperately, and they can't find it. So they're turning to AI. Ladies and gentlemen, the more we think about this, the better AI gets. We are left with a population that is desperate for connection, that is desperate for love, desperate for relationships. 1 in 5 men in the United States doesn't have a friend. 1 in 5 men. Think about that. We want to talk about ripe for the harvest. You want to talk about the ability to reach out and connect with people? It's there. The harvest is great, the workers are few. And that's why digital missions is so key, is because you can get so many people involved in digital missions. The barriers to entry are very, very low. So there is a church, and you're going to hear about it later this week from Ho Chi, only 8 members, and they're reaching dozens and dozens of people. It's very, very effective, and just about anybody can do it. So I'm running low on time, of course, but I'm debating about what to share with you. We have to be very careful about how we use AI in our ministry. The temptation for those administrators here and those pastors that are here, the temptation is going to be, because of of efficiency and cost to use AI in frontline ministry. Right now, there are AIs that can answer 500,000 simultaneous phone calls for a fraction of the cost than it has to have a contact center. We're talking about a few $1,000s a month to answer 500,000 simultaneous calls. 96% of people can't tell that they're talking to this particular AI. The temptation is going to be very strong. But what do we know in terms of who God is? He is extremely relational. He walked with Adam in the garden. He came down in a pillar of fire and led the Israelites. He filled the temple with his glory. He came down in the flesh and dwelt with us as Jesus. And then he dwells within us, within our own hearts and our own bodies, the temple of the Holy Spirit. We know that imaging God means having that kind of relationship. If we miss this opportunity to image God and give it to an AI because it's less expensive, who are we? What are we doing? We've missed the opportunity to image God. So ladies and gentlemen, as we think about who we are as Adventists, this creates a huge opportunity in the end. Yes, we will be silenced. Yes, it's going to be harder, even to do digital missions, let alone door-to-door evangelism. It's going to be harder in those regards. But digital missions, for now, gives us the opportunity to really reach out and impact people. So in terms of how we do this, one of the first things we have to do is we have to have good digital hygiene. We have to own our websites. Conference leaders, own your websites for every church and every school in your conference, please. Own your social media accounts. Don't let somebody set it up, they move on, and you're left with your exact name on your church, on your social media account, and you can't get it back, and it's just shut down forever. It's super hard to get that back. Give it to the conference. Have good social media hygiene, have good church hygiene. Make sure that you are doing things in such a way that's sustainable long-term, not just in and out based on charisma in a particular person. We need to do that. Then, take time. Take time to train your people how to do digital evangelism. It's not easy. It's not necessarily that you can just pick up a phone and do it. It takes time to do it. But digital missions can show you that it can be done. It's so effective. It's so effective that there are times when we can generate thousands of interests for a few $100s. We can qualify those interests for qualified leads for just $1 or $2 per qualified lead. It's that effective when done properly. The issue is follow-up. There are churches out there that have hundreds of qualified leads that no one is following up on. The church has to be ready for this. As we all know, evangelism only works in certain circumstances if the people really want it to make it happen. And so I encourage you, if you are going to go down this road of digital evangelism and do it right, make sure your people are ready. They're prayerfully prepared. They're spirit-fed and filled. And they're ready to move forward in a way that says, this church will change as a result of this. What's really cool about this is that when you do evangelism, because you're interacting with the community so readily available, you can get so much data from the community about what they need and what they want that you can change how you do evangelism in the local context. So it's no longer just kind of a shooting in the dark, kind of throwing it up there and see if it works. You know that they're looking for prayer. You know that they're struggling with finances. You know that they need help with this particular health issue. You know that there's a lot of divorces and a lot of domestic abuse. You can address that issue in your local context, not just shooting in the dark anymore. So that's a huge opportunity. But ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share those few things with you, and we're running out of time. We're doing digital evangelism. We're trying to train churches to do this, to do it properly because our window is shrinking. We have to think about our communities in a new way and reaching them. We have to unleash the laity to make sure that we can actually get the work done. And ladies and gentlemen, AI, the digital environment, is toxic. I promise you it's toxic. We have the Adventist health message. We need to increase the Adventist health message from just drugs and alcohol and not eating pork and shellfish to saying if you spend 14 hours a day on social media, it will be bad for you too. We need to do that. We need to add that into our fundamental beliefs. But it's a tool, and when used properly, can change people's lives and bring them to Jesus. Thank you so much for your time.